From dead-ass broke to multimillionaire and everywhere in between, I've watched people grow from nothing into something. I'm Roger Herring. I am the Investor's Accountant. It is great to see you today, and welcome to our YouTube channel. You know, we love to talk about wealth. We love to talk about building generational wealth. Most of the time we talk about tax reduction and tax elimination so you can keep more of your wealth that you're dealing with. But today I want to talk about principles. I want to talk about something that I have dubbed the M4 principle of wealth. Now, I have a kind of unique point of view. I call it the 30,000 foot view because I've got a lot of people that I work with. And over 22 years that I've been in private practice, I've talked to thousands of people. A lot of them have gone from absolute zero to multimillionaire. Some of them from absolute zero, nowhere. And what have those successful people, what do they all have in common? What are some of the same things that they do all the time? Well, I thought I would share with you today my point of view and what I see out of my clients and the people that I talk with, and I call it M4. M4 is a set of principles, and oddly enough, they all begin with M. These are all top-level strategies that have to be in place. Now, each strategy, it's independent. It can work on its own, but it's also interdependent. It works better with the other strategies. And eventually, you'll execute all these strategies at the same time. Now, all the top-level strategies have sub-strategies. So there's a whole lot of things that we're going to need to talk about, and this is actually going to be done over several segments. So, what the heck are the 4 M's? Well, they're make it, manage it, multiply it, manipulate it. Those are 4 things that are common across the board for everyone that is successful, almost to a T. So, let's just talk about it. Okay? Here you go. What in the world is that first M? Make it. Well, Roger, I already make money. Great. Awesome. I love it. But let me ask you a question. If you've got a small business, are you making money? Or are you just making a living? There is a huge difference between having a business that makes money and owning a job. Now, let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with owning a job. For years, I owned a job, and it's what got me from zero about a quarter of the way to where I am now. Okay? So there's some merit to it. We'll come back and we'll talk about it. The second thing is managing that money. This is your strategy to tell that money where it should go. Yeah, you got no problem telling other people where they should go. This is where you tell your money where it's going to go, and what you design here is how your life's going to be. There's a lot of habit built into this. We'll talk about it. Next is multiply it. What is your strategy to make money while you sleep? Hey, I'm sleeping, I'm making money. But you know what's an even better strategy? What's my strategy to use other people's money, other people's time, other people's talents, other people's resources to make money while I sleep? That's it. Multiplication. You got to have it if you're going to get wealthy. And finally, manipulate it. Well, what the heck is that, Roger? That's a bad word, manipulate. No, it's not. That just means to use skillfully, to operate skillfully. What are we manipulating? We're not manipulating money. We're manipulating the tax code. We're going to make the tax code work for you so you can keep more of that money that you make and multiply. And we're going to use strategies that makes your money totally tax-free in many cases. Sound good so far? All right, let's get into a couple of things today. Now, you would think that I would start with the principle of making it. That's not number 1 on the list. Number 1 on the list is actually managing money. But because before you can stop making a living and start making money, You have to be able to effectively control and manage your finances. Manage your money is the first step, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's go to the whiteboard. All right, everyone. I'm going to show you the most common, absolutely the most common method of money management that is currently used by most small business owners, unfortunately. It's called I had this much. I got this much, so I must have spent. Yeah, they have no idea how much money they have spent. They do not tell their money where to go. You know, Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, I love his analogy. I'm sending out my soldiers to capture the enemy and bring them back and turn them into more soldiers for me. Okay, you got to tell your money where to go. If you don't tell your money where to go, it's just going to disappear. You know, it's like people that get paid on Friday, then they hit the bar and they play some golf and they buy some stuff. And then a week and a half later, they're dead broke and realize they don't get paid again for another 3 days. Not a good thing. If you've ever had too much month at the end of your money, you totally understand what I'm talking about. So, what we want to do is have a plan to tell our money where to go. And trust me, I lived this, guys. I absolutely lived this. And for a long time, I spent frivolously. And, I'll just go ahead and share my story real quick. I love what Steve Harvey says. He says, jump. Okay. Roger didn't jump, Roger was pushed. One day I am making an awesome salary with great benefits. And the next day I'm unemployed. And I've got a family of four, and I got way too much debt at the wrong interest rate because I had this wonderfully high lifestyle. I had to learn real fast how to manage money because that's the only way I was going to survive. Okay. So let's talk about the very things, and we're going to start with the basics. As you move further along in your journey, in the beginning, obviously, it's easy. Over here, it gets complicated. But you know what? Complicated means you're making money. Let's get to it, all right? The first thing that you have to know in making your plan to manage money is how much. How much is coming in from your W-2? Do you have a side hustle? Okay. What other sources? Maybe you've got a rental property. Maybe you do a second job. Maybe you do like a couple I met that literally flip junk. They go around to yard sales, find good stuff, clean it up, mark it up, and sell it on Facebook Marketplace for about 3 times what they bought it for. Not a bad deal. So once we know how much, we have to ask another question. When? Because we have to know when this money is coming in. The W-2, that money may come on a schedule. The side hustle, maybe only once a month, that kind of thing. But we need to know the timing so we know how much money we've got coming, when it's coming, because we can't manage it if we don't understand it. The next thing we need to learn is our burn. Now, what the heck is that? The burn has two sides, critical and supplement. But Roger, what is it? That's the money you burn through every month. This is all the cash you spend. You got to know it. And you have to know what is critical, like the mortgage, groceries, utilities, car payment, Things that you got to pay, or the repo man's going to show up, or your kids are going to go hungry. Then you got the supplement. Well, what's that? That's Netflix. That's the game of golf every weekend. That's the big meals out. That's the sexy little sports car. These are the things that you're spending money on. Okay. Now, how are you going to figure out what your burn is and how much is coming in? What you're going to do is you're going to create your personal P&L. You're going to list all the money that's coming in, and you're going to list all the money that's coming out, and you're going to put it. This is coming in. This is critical. This is supplement. And now we got to start understanding if I have more money going out than I have coming in, that means I'm living on debt. And it means I'm digging a hole and I'm digging it deeper and deeper and deeper. So the first step to getting out of a hole is stop digging. So what we want to do is figure out which of these we can eliminate quickly and effectively to get us back to positive. Because what we want income. Let's say it's 5,000. And we want the total burn. Let's say it's 4,500. That means we've got 500 at the end of the month. Well, now, what am I going to do with it? Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build reserves. And the first reserve that we build is the emergency. And that emergency fund can be anywhere from 1,000 up to 5,000, depending on whether you're self-employed, what your savings situation is, and all of that. Everybody's different, but we're going to build that emergency fund. And so we're going to redirect this cash flow here until we get the fund completely done. And then we're going to take a good hard look at debt. Now, first thing we have to do is we have to take inventory, and we have to understand good debt versus bad debt. I love Kiyosaki's definition. Good debt puts money in your pocket. Bad debt takes money out of your pocket. And when I'm talking good debt, I'm talking leverage. Okay. I need to buy computers for the office. I'm short on cash. Is it a good idea to use debt? Yeah, it is, because those computers put money in my pocket. Bad debt. What is that? That's, financing a haircut. Yeah, I've actually seen people whip out the credit card at Sport Clips and finance a haircut at 17% for the next 40,000 years. Okay. Jeff Foxworthy used to do a bit about if you've ever financed a tattoo. Well, financing a tattoo, if you bought it on a credit card, it's the same thing. What else is this? Bad debt, reductive debt. Student loans. We got to kill them. Okay. Then once you're out of debt, we can go back and build our dream fund. This is money that we can tap to do what? Move over to the multiplier. But we'll talk about that later. So we need to know how much comes in. We need to know how much goes out. We need to eliminate the supplements that we don't need to create a positive cash flow, build our emergency fund. Once the emergency fund is built, we go after the debt, and then we can come back to the dream fund. Now, Roger, how do I get out of debt? I've tried and I've tried and I've tried. All right. I am going to teach you a technique
that Dave Ramsey came up with. Now, Dave's clientele and my clientele are not the same. We're talking to totally different audiences, but you know what? If you're in debt, this is the absolute gospel. And let me tell you guys, this works. I know because I used it. So here we go. This is called the Debt Snowball. First step in the Debt Snowball is list all your credit cards. So I've got credit card 1 with $11,000 on it. Credit card 2, $4,000. Credit card 3, $18,000. All right. So now I'm going to be able to know my total debt. So I've got 22, what's that, 33? Yep. So here we go, 33,000. How do we pay it off? Well, you're going to go after the highest interest card, right? Wrong. How about the highest balance? I'm going to go after this guy right here, the lowest balance. Well, why am I doing that? Shouldn't I go after the higher ones? You know, the whole idea of the debt snowball is that we're going to pay the minimum on the two that we're not working on, and then we're going to pay minimum plus whatever else we can throw at it. And in this case, what we would be throwing is this extra $500 a month. Boom. So let's say that the minimum was $200, and now I'm going to do $500 a month, and boom, I'm going to start paying $700 a month on this. Over 12 months, what is that? 1,400 and 700. Ooh, this card's going to be paid off in about half a year. Look at that. So once this guy is paid off, what I'm going to do is take this $700 that I was paying here, and now I'm going to go after this guy. And I am going to pay the minimum. Let's say that minimum was $350. So now I am paying $1,050 a month. And let me tell you guys, once you get this first credit card paid off, the boost in your mind and the excitement you're going to hit, oh, it's awesome. And it's going to encourage you to move to the next one and keep going. Trust me, I've lived this. And let me tell you, the day that you pay off that last card is a wonderful day. Now, something you should realize that, do I use credit cards? Sure, I use credit cards, especially when I travel because the credit card is safer to use than a debit card. But guess what? I pay it off. I don't carry balances unless I absolutely have to. But usually, if I make a large purchase, I have it paid off by the end of the month, and certainly within 60 days. And then those large purchases aren't to go play. Those large purchases are for my company, like pieces of software, that type of thing. So there it is, guys. This is the initial plan for managing your money. Now, everybody's plan is going to be a little bit different, but remember what I said. If you can't manage 10,000, there is no way you're ever going to be able to manage 100,000, and God forbid, 1,000,000. Learn to manage money now, because if you can't manage money, like my mother said, need expands to fit the income. So if you can't manage money, you can be making all the money in the world and you'll still be dead broke at the end of the day.
Guys, I just love talking about this stuff. And you know what? We're going to take another principle next time. And it might be make it might be manipulated, it might be some of both. I haven't decided yet. Multiplying is the last thing that we do, so I can tell you that won't be the next time. But it's going to come out very soon. I hope you've enjoyed today and start working on your plan to manage your money. Until the next time, Roger out.